gentlemen, and thank you for coming for our 6th annual World War II weekend at Graeme Park. Today's weapon demonstrations are going to be some of it interesting. This year we have several different Axis powers, and as well as our glorious comrades of the Soviet Union. And these gentlemen will be describing their weapons and showing you how they work.
Doug, how do you Americans say good morning, good morning, good morning? I am dressed as a naval infantryman of the Black Sea Fleet as it would appear at the Battle of Stalingrad and the Siege of Sevastopol. Across my chest, I am wearing a machine gun belt that was a service to weapons and also serviced 15 machine guns. 15 machine guns. Okay, I wear the machine gun belt for 15 machine guns that the Russian Naval Infantry Company would have. However, what I'm carrying is a different weapon. It's called the Papasha, or the PPSH-41. It was developed by a gentleman by the name of Spagen. The Germans always had the heavy firepower. The Russians not. It takes a long time to make a rifle, and it takes a long time to train an infantryman to use it effectively. However, they came out with this weapon here. It's a subgun. It is made out of stem parts. It uses less brass and less powder. And an infantryman doesn't have to be trained long. All he has to do is pull the trigger, and how you Americans say, use it as a hose. It fires 500 rounds per minute, and it can fire effective range of 100 yards. The drums is a 72-round magazine, and a soldier usually carries 2 magazines, one in the gun and one on my waist belt. I will demonstrate the firepower of the Papasha, the PPSH-41. That was just a short burst that I gave. Next, my counterpart came out is using another machine gun. It's called the PPS-43. That 43 means the year it was adopted. This was designed during the siege of Leningrad, made in little factories, little mom and pop shops, little machine shops. It was easily made, stamped, again, not much training. This case, it's got a 32-round stick magazine. This gun is very effective, and it served in service from the Second World War, Korean War, even up to the Vietnam War. Mikhail, demonstrate.
I would just like to point out that, unlike my comrade here, this is a semi-automatic version, so it'll fire as fast as I can pull the trigger. Hopefully.
Our next one will be the Germans.
Morning. This morning I'm going to be demonstrating the Mauser 98K, K for carbine, meaning short. It was a rifle developed by the Germans in 1898, used in World War I and World War II. It was called the backbone of the German army. It was, unlike the machine guns, it was a single-shot bolt action because the Germans thought that the infantrymen should support machine guns. So they wanted less firepower of the normal infantrymen just to support the machine guns. It's actually it's loaded by a 5-round magazine that you have to load in through the top. I'll show you, and little stripper clips. Each infantryman would carry 60 rounds in his ammo pouches on his waist, and the rifle holds 5. And I'll demonstrate how to do this. So they would open the bolt, push the rounds in, Ready to fire. As you can see, there's a lot less firepower. The Germans were more worried about precision and that each round kind of counted rather than mass producing the submachine guns. Like I said, this was made actually a 50-year-old gun. It continued to be used after the war by a lot of countries, Yugoslavia, Israel, things like that, and they're still in service today. Thanks.
Our next is the American weapons. We'll start out with this gentleman here. This is the standard battle weapon for the United States Army from 1941 until 1957. It is known as the M1 Grand. This weapon is fired by an 8-round clip, gas operated, semi-automatic. This man will show you how this is loaded, and then he will fire it and you will see. And you'll see how superior this one is over the K98. Now there's one thing you should know about when the last round was fired, it makes a certain ting sound when that clip comes out. The Germans figured out when that last round was fired, they'd pop up and shoot the GI. But what happened is the GIs, being smarter than they are, they would take 4 rounds, put in a weapon, fire it, let it come up, duck, wait for the German to pop up and have his weapon reload it and kill the guy. Our next weapon will be the 1903 Springfield bolt-action rifle. This weapon was the main battle weapon for the United States military from 1903 until 1941. It is chambered in 30-06 5-round stripper clip. This gentleman will show you how that is done. But just put, all right, far away. You'll see how slow this one is. On him, he has other arsenal weapons as well. This is the M1 carbine in 30 cal. This was designed as a lighter weapon. And many manufacturers made this. So you will find it all the way up to Remington, who made typewriters, built this thing. It's light, and it's 15-round magazine. He will demonstrate how fast this one goes. This is also in semi-automatic. Bad rounds. All right. The next weapon he has is a 1911 .45 automatic pistol. This was designed by John Browning in 1911 to stop a man in a trench. He is going to show you just how fast this weapon goes. We hope. Anything else? Our third person here is a United States Marine. He's carrying a...
This is a Winchester 1897 shotgun, 12 gauge. The Army used them in World War I, and then coming into World War II, shotguns were always used by the armed forces. They used them for guard guns, for security detail, and guarding prisoners. They also did use them to limited extent to combat as well. What they would do with combat, barrel would be 20 inches. They'd put this shield on it, so when it got hot, protected the guy's hand from firing, and also made it capable
Explain who you are. They've never seen you before.
of putting a sizable bayonet on the shotgun to work. A lot of them used them in, they were used a little bit over in in Europe, mostly over in Pacific with Marines because of the close in of the jungle, with the denseness of it, the Japanese closing in on ambush, and these things will work very well effective for stopping any ambushes or anything. That's how she works.
Okay. Our next two gentlemen are from the Axis side, and I will let them explain who they are and what they are.
Good morning. I represent a private soldier of the Royal Italian Army in roughly 1942. The Italians and my Bulgarian friend were allies of the Germans. Yes, we invented fascism, but we were soldiers of the King of Italy. The problem with the Italian army was not the men themselves. It was the government supplying them in the officer corps. For instance, look at the Americans, look at the Germans, look at the Russians. Look how much ammunition pouches they have. It had been decided in the Italian army that a battle would only last 30 rounds. So that we were given 2 pouches to carry 30 rounds of ammunition. Good luck with that. The weapon we had was one designed in the 19th century. At the end of the 19th century, the Carcano rifle that bears similarities to the Mannlicher rifle that my Bulgarian friend has. The weapon was loaded by shells that came in unblocked clips, sort of like the M1 rifle. As the bolt was worked, I'm going to talk without a microphone. Could you hold that? I'm going to talk without a microphone for a second. The block of ammunition was pushed into the rifle. As long as you had ammunition in that rifle, you were fine. The minute you fired the last round, supposedly, the metal clip would then fall out of the bottom of the rifle. Supposedly. Now again, the Italian army was hindered by its own thinking. For instance, its light machine gun on the squad level was the Beretta. They had decided that the bullets needed to be oiled on the Beretta in order for it to be fed well. So what did they do? They put an oiler on top of the machine gun. Put oil on something and go to the desert, and you will see what a colossally bad idea that is. But the Italian soldier was admired for his ability to defend and work even by their German allies. Rommel himself once said, I could ask the Italians to work all day without a break, and I can't ask my German soldiers to do that. Now I'll allow my Bulgarian friend to talk a little bit about what he's wearing.
Good morning. I'm portraying an NCO candidate of the 1st Bulgarian Army of 1945. Like Italy, the Bulgarians ended up capitulating and changing sides, and they would have fought against the Germans in Hungary under Soviet command. Before that, they were based in the Balkans, mostly on anti-partisan duty. So they didn't see as much action, and the history is mostly one of them trying to avoid major commitments on the Eastern Front. The rifle would be similar to the Italian, that's actually based on it. It's from the Austro-Hungarian Empire. And there'll be a straight pole with a 5-round clip that would go down in here. And when it's finished firing, it would fall out the bottom.
And I would like to apologize that we do not have blanks for the last 2 rifles. These are not as mass-produced as the other ones and are a little harder to get ammunition for. And unfortunately, our supply chains aren't what they used to be. But thanks, everybody, for coming. Hopefully you get to stay today and get to see us during the battle and come visit all the camps. I'd like to thank all the reenactors for coming out today, and hopefully everybody has a good time. Ask these guys all the questions you want. They'll have an answer for you.